welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and I'm so excited today to be joined by a brand new guest, Alina Rubinshteyn, right?
Yes.
I got that, absolutely. She's the co-founder.
Say that 3 times fast now.
That's right. That's right. She's the new co-founder of a new organization called Live To in the industry, and we're going to get a chance to learn a little bit about that. So thanks so much for joining me today.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I mentioned to you earlier, but you are just an inspiration to me weekly, and it's my honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. So let's jump into this. You started this new organization called Live To. So
Yes.
Tell me about it. Can you talk about it? What's it all about?
I would love to talk about it. Just give me enough time, right?
Right.
So yeah, my business partner, Scott Anderson, and I started a company, Live To. I think we officially launched in end of September of last year, which seems both like forever ago and also like yesterday, like it was yesterday.
Totally.
Yeah, and the company is focused on delivering success and happiness to the promotional products distributor. So it is focused on the distributor, salesperson, and owner. And we do that by solving a few challenges that we've uncovered in our combined 40 plus years of experience in this incredible industry. And in within that time frame, we heard and we discovered some challenges, and based on our research, once we decided to bring this all together, that there are some things that we were in a position to really help with. And a few of the things that Live To helps with is connection. Right. So we created a community, and I'll speak to that in a little bit, that helps with that longing to connect that we all have in this industry. It's consistent training that, there's a ton of incredible training that exists, but we saw a gap that we wanted to fill. Accountability and implementation, which we felt was a gap, not just in our industry, but in general in training.
Sure.
And the continued momentum, because we believe that training doesn't just have a start and a finish. It's a journey that needs to continue.
Yeah.
So with Live To, we have 3 main legs of our business. One is, like I mentioned, that free Facebook community. And that place is focused again on the success and inspiration and joy for the promotional products distributor. And Scott and I are constantly in there. We're engaging with everybody. It's a place where we wanted people to come and feel excited and motivated and inspired and deliver value based on trends that we see. It's just a fun community. The second leg of the business is our Live To Learn course. It's our baby. And it's developed based on habits and best practices that we've seen over our careers. And, most of our careers has been spent on the supplier side of the business.
Right.
And I always say it's been such a gift because we've been able to work with some of the best people in this industry, coast to coast between the two of us. And we would be absolutely crazy not to have noticed certain patterns of success and patterns of failure as well. And so we wanted to bring a program that really helped people get to where they want to get to faster. And it's not just about tactics and the science side of the sales, because I believe sales has art and science, and those that know how to combine the two are the ones that thrive. But it's also about uncovering what drives you and what's important to you. And the Live To Learn program, I mentioned it's a 4-module course, but everything is pre-recorded. But Scott and I actually take people through the course as a class. And I mentioned challenge of accountability. We break people up into accountability groups, which, Kirby, it's probably one of my favorite parts about the entire process, because I was just on an accountability group call before we jumped on, and just to be a part of these discussions. And we have 20, 30-year veterans in these groups, and people are opening up and sharing challenges, and other people are jumping in and helping based on their experience. And it's just such an incredible experience for me to be a part of, and for everybody else to be a part of that as well. And so it's about a 6 to 8 week program. And to continue the momentum, Scott and I developed Live to Academy, which is the third leg of our business. And Live to Academy is created to make sure that once you're done with your training, and usually you go through training, you get pumped up and motivated, and you're like, put me in, coach, right? And then you
Right.
get back to your computer, you get smacked in the face with 200 plus emails that you missed during the training.
Yep.
And you're like, I'll execute that later. I got to react. And the same thing happens tomorrow and the next day until it all goes away. And so Live to Academy is there to ensure that that does not happen. And we bring in experts outside and inside of the industry to talk to our Live to Learn graduates. We interview end users, without revealing where they're from, who they are, just to give perspective of what's important and what type of things they are getting versus what they wish they had. We interview, I think I mentioned, but I don't know, now I'm talking too fast, but experts inside of our industry and outside of the industry, workshops, and it's just continuing that momentum. So
it keeps the training kind of going, keeps, as you said, keeps the momentum going too.
Keeps the momentum going. Yep, because the journey doesn't end. Yeah.
That's exactly right. I actually love to hear that, because I think that's one of the things that, maybe we've been taught growing up, that you get through high school, you get through college, and then you're done learning. And the best, I don't think, do. I think that, lifelong learners are the ones who end up being lifelong leaders. So cool. I'm excited to learn more. I kind of dug in, did a little stalking on the website myself. So I'm excited for you. So I'm curious, this is an interesting time, right? This is over the last year or so to take this. Yeah. So everything's been, So why did you start now? Why did you decide to start now?
That's a perfect question, because it doesn't seem like a sane decision, but Scott and I did not ever plan to launch a business in the middle of a pandemic.
Sure.
What happened was, so Scott, most recently, both of us came from PCNA.
Yep.
And Scott left in February of 2020. I left in the summer of 2020. And for me personally, if we have to look at the silver lining of the pandemic and the craziness that we've all lived in, for me, the reason why I left, it was a really hard decision because I adored my job, my company, the people I worked with. But we had no balance in my family, and I traveled a ton. My husband traveled a ton. We'd meet at the airport for a cup of coffee once in a while. It was insane, but that was our normal. That's all we knew. And so when we were forced into quarantine and we were forced to get a taste of balance, we decided that our kids deserve to have that in their life.
Yeah.
So I left, and what that really gave me an opportunity to do is pursue a passion for entrepreneurship, and also passion to give back. And Scott, coincidentally, was kind of in the same place. He was trying to figure out, what's the next step. He knew he didn't really want to go back to the lifestyle he had. He wanted to spend more time with family, and he wanted his next step to be something that was more passionate for him and had a bigger mission than himself. And so once we realized that, we started to brainstorm, and, we've uncovered this need for this type of training, community, networking type of need in this industry. We've talked about it forever, but it never is, hey, let's build a business around it. But now we started to, and, we thought, well, maybe it's just our perspective and it's just a concept, and having a concept means nothing without verifying it, right?
Right.
So we started to talk to our customers, our friends on the distributor side, both owners and salespeople. And what we uncovered is not just a need, we uncovered a pain point. And what we started to hear from owners, it was, I know I need to invest in my people. I know I need to provide training. I don't have time or I don't have resources because
Right.
I got my own book of business or
Yeah.
I have to run a business.
Mhm.
And for salespeople, they were saying, I want to connect. I want to know what's working for others. I want to know why others are thriving regardless of what's happening, while I might not be I might
Right.
not be in that position. So it was really eye opening, and you know, I know the time seems crazy, but during this pandemic, some of those pain points really amplified.
Right.
And so the time for our business and the mission that we have and the passion that we have to deliver the value through this business really couldn't be better because people needed it most.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And I've heard, it's funny. I think you hear about some amazing businesses that were started in challenging times, and so sometimes it's the it's the mother of invention, as that necessity.
Yes.
So I'm curious. Obviously, there's a big component of sales training to this. And you're right. We all need more of that. I actually have a book on my desk right now. We're trying. You just try and grow. So,
Yeah.
what's the type of sales training that sort of gets you excited?
Oh, okay. So I am a junkie for training. I completely relate with what you said. I believe that if you're not growing, you're dying, which
Mm,
I know sounds very intense, but it's true. A
right.
key to happiness is progress.
Yeah.
And I think we always have an opportunity to learn. And I have training in my life constantly. I'm in
Yeah.
the middle of one right now on my own. So the type of training that gets me excited is the training that makes me feel like I'm a better person walking out of it than I did
Mhm.
walking into it.
Right.
It's training that gives me clear action items to
Yeah.
take so I can take massive action. Well, maybe
Agreed.
not massive, but action
Yeah.
afterwards. And training that holds me accountable, right? Like I want to make sure that when I'm done with this training, I have implemented what I've learned and I have tools to do that, because if not, then I've wasted my time, and that is the most precious resource we have.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. So well, I'm excited for you. And obviously, I think I encourage everybody to check it out. You've answered my 3 questions. I give everybody a chance to ask me one
Yes.
question. Do you have one for me?
I have 100 for you, but
Well, I mean,
I'll
we
narrow it
might not
down.
have time, but give me a couple, whatever.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one. So obviously, I am intrigued by what makes people successful and what
Mm,
makes people thrive. And you've reached a level of success yourself, and you talk to so many incredible people in our industry, maybe even people outside of our
mm.
industry. And I would love to have your perspective on a few things that you feel makes people thrive regardless of what's happening in the outside world, right? Because we've all been thrown a ginormous curveball
Yeah,
past
yeah,
year.
absolutely. So it's a great question. And I'm not sure I have all the answers, but there's a couple things that pop into my head when this kind of pops up. The first thing that comes into my head is they don't people who are successful never very rarely play the victim. Like they want to be the hero in the story. They don't want to be the victim in the story. I think we saw that over the past year. I said a lot. The people, it felt like people went on two divergent kind of paths during this pandemic. It was either, okay, I'm going to hunker down and just give me a call when this is all over, or, well, look, now that we're here, what do I do with this? And I feel
Mm,
like that is a much more proactive, more heroes mentality versus a victim mentality that says, hey, this has just happened. I don't know what to do. So that's number one, is they don't play the victim. Number two, and this has kind of been a recent epiphany, just as a what to call it, is they go on offense. Right.
mm,
Like I think so many times, especially when times are tough, we tend to play defense. And I
yep,
think in our industry, in the promotional products industry, playing defense is when I'm not having fun, right?
yep,
That's when I'm fielding problem calls. We're out of stock on this, and this imprint was wrong. But when I'm on offense, when I'm making sales calls, when I'm coming up with creative
Mhm.
presentations, when I'm doing things that create action, that's when I feel like I'm most productive. So that's been a kind of a mantra in the last week or so with my team, is like, look, guys, we need to go on offense. And then the third one is old school. It's, they work hard.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I think that the term hustle and grind and all that stuff has been kind of overused to the point where it's, people like, yeah. But it's the one thing you can control is your own
Mhm.
effort. And so to me, those are sort of the three things that just pop into my head. If you don't play the victim, you're the sort of the hero in your own story, you go on offense and you work hard at it, generally good things are going to happen.
I love all of those things. Your play on offense versus defense analogy, I think it's about controlling what you can control,
Yeah.
right? We've all experienced a ton of uncertainty
Yeah.
coming at us, and being able to control what we can
Yeah.
really helps us focus on being the hero and not the victim.
Yeah.
And yeah, and when you work hard,
Good things
then
happen.
you're able to do all those things and
Yeah.
stay in control. So all of those tie together. That's amazing.
Cool. Well, Alina, I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm excited about your new venture, and we'll have to do this again sometime. Okay.
I would love it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.